I am so excited to share today's episode with all of you. We are going to be making over our Breezeway, and this has been something we've had in the works for so many months, and I'm super excited with how it turned out. First, I have to take you back to how it looked when we bought this home. There was something incredibly calming about this space. We walked through the Breezeway and we could just kind of feel this overwhelming sense of this is home. This is where we are supposed to be. We were so lucky that our offer was accepted, and after the offer was accepted, the hard work began. We've been slowly, room by room, working on transforming this house and turning it into a space that represents us while still keeping the feel of the 1962 era that this home was originally built in. I'm excited to share the process of how we transformed this Breezeway from what it was when we purchased the home to what it is now. After we got back from our European trip and the weather got better, it was time to start tackling the Breezeway. I knew that I wanted to create a space that I could entertain in year-round. Living here in Oregon, it rains all the time. I mean, you guys, I'm talking 9 months out of the year, but I wanted to create a space that we could enjoy not just during the 2.5 months of summer here in Oregon. I wanted a space that we could enjoy year-round. Obviously, we had to tackle the paint on this home. The paint on here was original from 1962. It had never been repainted. We got the pressure washer out, we started cleaning things up, and then we started painting. Our first home, we painted a beautiful deep blue, but when we were looking at this home, there was just no color that really felt right to fit within the nature setting. A lot of the homes that we looked to for a lot of inspiration, like Frank Lloyd Wright houses, were actually painted the color that this home was originally painted. Some kind of a tan or a very neutral color that makes it blend in with the nature around it. It just wasn't us though. So we needed to stay true to ourselves because we plan to be in this home for a really long time. I wanted to get the couch layout laid out so I had an idea of what the size would be before we placed our order, and to make sure that it will work both down here in the Breezeway and also on Little Italy. We really wanted to have a piece that we could move depending on the season. Now we may end up turning it around so we will be sitting on it looking at the view, but for this makeover for right now, I'm going to go ahead and have it looking this direction. Now that I have the layout of the couch completed and taped out to the exact dimensions, I'm going to go ahead and use a thinner piece of tape and mark out the size of the rug that I really want. Unfortunately, they don't make it in a bigger size, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to work for this, so we're going to tape it out and see what we think. Yes. You think it should go all the way out? We just found out that the Etsy shop can custom make this mat for us. It's actually a vinyl rug mat thing that looks like Portuguese tile. It can only be 59 inches wide, which is this width right here, but it can go longer because this printing machine can make it longer. So now we're wondering if we should go ahead and have it go past each of the ends.
Because I think it's weird when you look at it from front end right here, and then that foot isn't gonna be on the rug.
It's not, and it's not even halfway to it, which would have been more ideal. Technically, this does pass Emily Henderson's rule though, because it is 1/3 of the way under.
Yeah, but it's not 1/3 of the way under that leg.
No, I mean the front ones, sorry, for the front ones.
Those front ones?
No.
This a front leg?
Oh my gosh, that is a front leg. I'm so confused.
So shouldn't it be under those legs?
I think it was the front inside. I don't know. Either way, I think you're right that we should go larger.
Should we call Emily?
Let's call Emily. Emily, help us. What should we do? We tossed around so many different ideas for paint colors, but the one thing we kept coming back to over and over again was classic black and white. So we decided that the Breezeway would be our perfect place to test the paint colors to make sure that we liked it before we committed to painting the entire house. We're doing all of the work ourselves, and we're going to be doing it in phases. So this Breezeway was phase 1, and so far we're really happy with the color choices. We were so happy with the transformation of our first home that we painted. And one of the things that I loved the most about that transformation was the black porch. A lot of people on Instagram, when I did some polls, thought that I was crazy when I said that I was painting my porch black. But I really truly think that that is what made that porch pop. And it also made the accents of flowers and pots and the hanging egg chair really stand out against the contrast of the black paint. Since we were so happy with that decision in our first home, we decided let's go ahead and go for it and paint all of the current existing brown accent color to black. We really wanted to keep this space calm and neutral. And part of the reason I like to decorate the larger spaces with a neutral base is because then you can so easily swap things out. You can use teal as your accent color. Then you can change it to blue or forest green or purple or yellow, whatever accent colors and patterns you want to bring into the space. You now can do that because your base is very neutral. It might sound a little bit safe, but I had more reasons to doing this other than just playing it safe. I really wanted a calming space. And every time we make a major decision on this house, we always go back to, does this give us a calming feeling? Do we feel good when we walk into this space? Does it take us from the craziness of the world and just bring us back down to, we're home? But also, don't be scared to do you. Don't be scared to do whatever feels natural and right to you. And that might change too. It might be something different next year. It might be something different in 5 years. But just trust your instincts and trust your gut. I believe two of the most important things when you're transforming a space happen to be some of the lowest budget items: painting and plants. One of the ways that I have found the majority of my plants in the past is Facebook Marketplace. Yes, I just said Facebook. It is amazing how often people will put plants for free or for a very, very low price up for grabs. Sometimes you have to go dig them up, and trust me, I have done it. I remember this one time I went and I dug up 3 of these giant ferns. I mean, the root ball was this big. I was like jumping on the shovel. I was sweating. That lady probably thought I was a hot mess and was like, wow, this girl really wants these ferns. And I did. It is such a great way to find plants both for indoors and outdoors for an incredible deal. A lot of times free. And there are also Facebook groups that you can join. And if there isn't one already in your area, don't be scared to be the one that starts one. If you are doing a small space and you only need a gallon or maybe a quart of paint for that space, don't forget to try looking at your local Habitat for Humanity. They often have gallons of paint that would have cost $30 to $35 for $1, $2, $3. You can find incredible deals on paint. And if you're really creative and you're feeling wild, you can go ahead and just start mixing paint until you get your full gallon. So between Facebook Marketplace for plants and Habitat for Humanity for your paint, those two things can make such a difference in a space. brave. It works.
Well, this beam is a lot bigger than the one we put it in Vancouver.
That's true. When we put this in our Vancouver house, it was a little suspect. Jesse really wanted to have a mid-century globe hanging in the breezeway like you would see in a lot of homes from this era. And we were having the hardest time finding one large enough. We were coming across 16-inch and 18-inch and even a couple 20-inch globes, but we were not finding something the size that we wanted. So we decided to buy a brand new lighting fixture from Lounge Lizard in Portland. Last year, one of their locations burned completely to the ground and it was devastating for them. When we found out that Lounge Lizard had newer productions that they made in-house, we knew that was a cool way that we could support them and get the globe the size that we were looking for. So it was kind of a win-win. That was a giant ant nest.
Yep.
Whoa. So it's time to move?
Time to move the ants.
Oh my goodness.
And see how inside they were just turning in all the dust.
How long do you think they've been living there? I mean, is this years?
Couple years, yeah.
Couple years worth of...
Yeah, that's not anything new.
Wow.
But I think they had a water source for years. That wasn't last month it leaked once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, we knew when we bought it that this whole corner had to be replaced. We just didn't know there was ants living in it. This is where we're at today. This project is no joke. We had one of the largest ant nests in the rot that our contractors ever seen before. But we think we got them all, and we knew this was gonna be a big project, so it wasn't necessarily a surprise. I guess the ants were a surprise. Oh my goodness, look at this. That's where they've eaten. Some of it just disintegrated as soon as we touched it. Absolutely crazy. But we're getting it fixed, and then we are gonna be good to go. This entire corner has been completely rebuilt, and we also added in additional support up here. So we had 2 beams, and just the very edge of it right here, you can see where the lighter wood is on this side, was rotted. So we ended up cutting out those 2 sections and replacing them, but we still needed something really structural. So we have 2 new beams running right alongside the old ones. That way, we are really supported up there. We still have a lot of work to do next spring. We still need to replace the drain, add the siding back on here. We were able to salvage about 3/4 of the siding, and then all we need to do is replace these couple rotten boards right here. And then even though it still doesn't look that pretty, all of the rot is gonna be gone, and then we should be okay. We've gotten rid of the ants. We have a new door that's not all nasty and rotted, and we're excited to see what this is gonna look like. The siding is going back on it today, and then hopefully we can get it painted the white color this weekend. Found a coffee table for the Breezeway on Facebook Marketplace, and we just picked it up, and it looks even better than I had hoped in person. I found, I think, 4 of these hanging geometric planters at an estate sale years ago for only a couple dollars. I think they might have been only $2 each. And from the side, you can kind of see how cool they look. But they're in a little bit of rough shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these cleaned up. And then I'm gonna use my favorite wood oil. This is what I use on anything furniture-wise that just needs a little bit of hydration and color. The chains are also pretty rusted out. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap them out with some matte black chain that I picked up at Home Depot. And then let me show you this beauty. I got this from Laura with Larkin's Mill Market. And it's a very old primitive carved bucket, and I'm gonna go ahead and use this for a plant that I have, although I made sure that none of the water would leak through to this. I actually have a weird idea of possibly using this as a cute little trash can in my bathroom at a later time. I'm gonna go ahead and get these cleaned up and oiled, and we will see how they turn out. I have an idea for how I'm gonna get the wood oil in all the little nooks and crannies here. A lot of times I would use like a big thick paintbrush, but I've used all my paintbrushes right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and use one of these little tiny bottles that I have. I happen to have these on hand because I use them for essential oils. I'll put a little bit of lemongrass or sweet orange mixed with water, use that for an air freshener. But anyways, I'm gonna add some of the oil to these and see how that works. That way I can kind of spray it on here. I recently found this beautiful vase at Goodwill for only $14.99, and it's in rough shape, but I think with a fresh coat of paint, it's gonna look amazing. These butterfly chairs I got at an estate sale years ago, and I went there to the estate sale specifically for them. And I actually will have to tell you a little funny story about how I almost got in trouble getting them, but I did get them, and I think they were only $10 each. So these are gonna get powder coated in a matte black as well. I was a little on the fence about whether to invest in powder coating this table. I got it at Habitat for Humanity for just a few dollars, but I really like the round shape on it. So today I'm gonna have to make the decision of if I want it black or white, and I'm not sure which I want. I think it's gonna go in between the two butterfly chairs, so I feel like if those are black, maybe this should be white. Ugh, decision time. All right, we are gonna see how this turned out. We got the powder coating back today. Whoa, that looks good, doesn't it? So how long will this last? Wow. Oh, look at the butterfly chairs. Remember when I stood in line and got these at the estate sale and I almost got kicked out of the estate sale because they thought I was cutting, but I didn't know I was cutting?
Yeah, you need some really amount.
I didn't know the rules with that one. The teak lampshades are probably one of the things that I'm the most excited about in this makeover. And the main reason why is because I found those 6 years ago. I found them at Curiosities Vintage, which was a vintage mall in Beaverton, which is now located in Tigard, Oregon. And I was a dealer there. And even when you're a dealer, you usually end up walking throughout the store and checking out what everybody else brought in. One of the other dealers had brought those in, and I think that I paid $10 each. I was hoping that someday I would have a beautiful space to entertain outdoor, and that those would be the lighting fixtures that I would be using. I really wanted to put the round globes inside of them, and finally we had the perfect space for it 6 years later. Thank you, Jessie, for letting me keep those tucked away in the attic for 6 years. I appreciate you so much. And also thank you for rewiring them and finding the perfect size globes. Love you. I just finished the second coat over here, including on the brick down there. I only couldn't get this one little spot right here. None of my ladders work, but Jesse was gonna look for a special kind of ladder that can go up over the stairs, and he was gonna see if he could find that secondhand on Facebook Marketplace. So that's the only spot I've got left over there. And then I also got the second coat on all of this here. So it's pretty much done. I still need to paint the door black and paint these posts and this top beam black. We are waiting until next spring to tackle these steps and the ceiling. We have to wait until Little Italy is completely finished next spring after the rainy season before we paint this black. But I thought since I was gonna go ahead and paint the door black, I might as well get these posts black. That way I can get a good visualization of what it's gonna look like. I am loving the contrast of the black. I know it's really hard to tell in this video, but up here you can really see the difference. This is the original paint color on the home, and the house was built in 1962. So it's very weathered and worn, and it's just gonna look amazing with the contrast of the fresh black paint. Jesse sprayed all of this with our paint sprayer, but it just didn't look good on the regular siding. This siding is so thick that using the paint sprayer really helped get a nice thick coat on there. But the rest of this siding really looked much better and much more even being rolled on. The quotes to paint our house came in at between $10,000 and $20,000. So we are saving a ton of money by taking this on ourselves, but we still wanted it to look like a professional, high quality job. And so far we're really happy with how it's looking. I am still trying to figure out what the perfect option for a rug is. I ended up using an existing jute rug that I had for this space. I think it works really well. The size is great. The fact that it's neutral works really good. But I really did want to have a rug that had a little bit more pattern. I found some amazing sellers on Etsy that had really unique printed rugs that looked like Mediterranean tiles. And I thought that was going to be a really fun concept. I was going to use it in this space and then eventually on the rooftop of the Breezeway, which I call Little Italy. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to place that order because it is not UV protected. The sun up on Little Italy would eventually fade it. So I decided to go ahead and hold off, and for now we're using the jute rug, and things are never ever really finished when you are a reseller and a thrifter. Eventually I will find the perfect rug for the space. For right now, this jute rug does just fine. I want to thank Outer for sponsoring today's video. When Outer first reached out to me to work with me on this makeover video, I was so excited because the one thing that I had been having the hardest time sourcing was an incredible, comfortable couch for my outdoor space that would hold up in the Oregon weather. So I was absolutely thrilled to partner with Outer for today's makeover episode. Outer creates durable, eco-conscious outdoor furniture designed to help people live better outside. They have completely reimagined the outdoor living experience from the ground up. Outer's all-weather wicker frame is made from recycled plastic bottles. They plant loads of trees to fight deforestation. They are climate neutral certified. Every product is fully recyclable. They use the best materials, and their patented outer shelf fabric is UV protected and stain resistant. And the best part is that these couches are extremely comfortable. Sometimes I choose form over function, but not in this case. I was able to get something incredibly beautiful and functional too. Outer is risk-free. If you do not love your Outer sofa, they offer free return shipping and 100% money-back guarantee within 14 days of delivery. But I gotta tell you, this couch is not going anywhere except possibly up to the rooftop, and that's one thing that's great about having a modular sofa. You can constantly rearrange and move the pieces around. If you are looking to live better outside, look no further than Outer. Get $200 off Outer furniture today. Visit liveouter.com/Laura Caldwell. One of their recent collections sold out in only 24 hours, so trust me, you don't want to miss this deal. Thanks again to Outer for sponsoring today's video. Jesse and I have been having a wonderful time out here this summer on our new Outer couch, and we have our morning coffee out here. We check our emails, we get our week lined up, and we sit here and we watch all the birds in the backyard because apparently we've become bird watcher people. Speaking of birds, guess what flew over my head while I was sitting right here on this couch? Oh my God, an owl just flew over our heads in the breezeway. It's in the tree. You have no idea how happy I am. I've always wanted an owl. Look at him turning his head. I'm like shaking right now. I'm so happy. He looks like kind of a young one. He just flew right over our heads in the breezeway. We were sitting on our couch. Hi, baby. You are so beautiful, and you are welcome to live here as long as you want. We have a hollow tree for you. This is one of my dreams in life. What are we gonna name him? Oh, he's looking at my cat. This is not good. I don't think Lorenzo's gonna be allowed outside for a while. So we've now seen raccoons in our backyard. We now have an owl. We've seen all kinds of other little critters. And we even had 2 coyotes trot through our backyard recently. And we are just loving every second of it. My childhood dream of living in the forest like Snow White with all the critters has come true. When I was looking for accent pillows, I had seen that Justina Blakeney, one of my favorite humans and interior designers, had just come out with a new line of pillows that were selling at Target. I thought these were gonna be perfect. I love the color and the design on these, and they are the perfect addition to our beautiful outer couch. It has been so fun thrifting all of these pieces for this space. A couple of these I got at Goodwill just recently. This is a beautiful Italian bowl, and it's still got the Goodwill price tag on it. You can see I paid $7.99. I found this amazing Japanese pottery. You know that I love my Japanese vases. I think it is such a fun way to put a plant in it and have it look a little bit different than just a standard vase. I thought this was the most adorable nutcracker I'd ever seen. I recently got this at an antique store in Aurora. And then this was a really great find. I got this at Goodwill, and it is a mid-century designer piece. I only paid a few dollars for it, and it is worth over $100. This is one of Jesse's favorite pieces we have found. This is a mid-century cocktail shaker. We got that from the Rustic Hippo up in Tacoma, Washington. And then I also just recently found this teak ice bucket holder in Aurora as well. It's a pretty good price. They've got $69 on it. I know sometimes online they go for $100 to $150, and it's in pristine condition. And then this is a beautiful tray right here for $39. I think these will be perfect for my outdoor makeover. Almost all of this has been thrifted, and all of it's been bought secondhand. We also still need to put in a new door here. We just got our custom-made front door put in, and we are so happy with how that turned out. And I'll pop in a picture because Lorenzo's really happy with it too. He loves all of the glass. He sits there and he can look out that window without having to get up into a window ledge. So since we were so happy with how that one turned out, we are gonna talk to the gentleman who made that door and see if he can make us a matching one for this side door too.
There are so many aspects of this makeover that I'm really excited about, but one of the things that I'm the most excited about is seeing these pieces that I have had stored, sometimes for years, come to life and get brought into this space that I've always dreamed of having. I have always dreamed of having an outdoor entertaining space that I could host my family year round. Living here in the Pacific Northwest, it rains all the time. Sometimes we only get about 2.5 months of good sunshine in the summer months. So having this space put together to be able to entertain with our friends and family year round is really, really exciting. I found the bar cart at a local flea market, and the vendor, Restated PDX, was so wonderful and so amazing, and it was the very first time I had met them. They had been followers here on YouTube for a little while, and guess what? They are coming on the trip to Italy. I am so excited that they booked 2 of the spots. It's a husband and wife duo. We love our new bar cart, but we are even more excited to go on this trip to Italy with them and really get to know them. Shout out to Restated PDX for finding the perfect bar cart for us. I had been looking for so long for one large enough to be able to actually really serve drinks on, and this is the perfect one for this space. The butterfly chairs we got at an estate sale, and I think I only paid around $10 each for them. Maybe they were $15 each. And we did end up getting them powder coated. So I also found an amazing round table, and we got those all powder coated together in the matte black last year when we got our outdoor fireplace powder coated. They turned out amazing. The only problem is that the canvas covers that we currently have on them have been outdoors now for a few seasons, and they're a little bit dirty. I didn't buy new ones for this makeover episode because I have not decided whether I want to do tan leather or whether I want to do another pair of canvas ones. Now that they're going to be in a covered area, I think they will hold up a little bit better.
We had been hanging on to our outdoor rolling chairs, just waiting until this space was complete. They are made to be outdoor chairs and they're actually reversible. So you can flip the cushion over and you can have the white canvas on one side, or you can flip it to the other side and have the tan leather. I personally prefer the contrast of the tan leather. When we've entertained in the Breezeway, a couple times we had around 15 people here. So furniture was just getting shuffled and moved around. So I love that they are on rollers. They are super easy to move around, especially with an ever-changing layout. As you know, with design, things never stay the same. Especially for me, I am constantly rearranging, shuffling things from one room to another. And so I'm sure the next time you see this Breezeway, it won't look like this. It'll probably have a completely different layout. But that is what is so fun about decorating, is you're always getting to change things up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and seeing the transformation of our Breezeway. I hope that this episode inspires you to get working on that space you've been putting off, because I know all about that. When we did the transformation of our Vancouver house, I couldn't believe we had left that porch the way that it was for 3 years. Thank you for taking this time out of your day to watch this Breezeway makeover, and I hope that it has been an inspiration to you.